Go ahead and get started. We'll start recording, start sharing my screen. I don't want it to show that. See all slides. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. It is week 2 of our weekly training for Modern Realty Guam for the Modern Agent. Today we're gonna be going over essentially kind of a hybrid of our marketing plan and what's available in terms of our buyer products and how to turn that lead into a client while minimizing contact time. All right, so obviously if you've been around for a little bit or if you're new, our big idea is that we want to create a one-stop shop for all our customers. So the modern model with all our different products, even though we are a franchise, we brought Modern Realty Midland to Guam and we took a lot of their products and systems. We still have changed, how we do business, and the fact that I know all of us coming from different places, we felt like there were just things that were missing from our firm, the way we did business, both in-house and with our colleagues and other service vendors out in town. And we want to create a one-stop solution as much as possible to where everything's always coming back to us, driving traffic back to our various offices for the purpose of doing one thing, and that's removing all stress from the buying and selling process for our service members and local clientele. Anyone, especially, we have a lot of both military with our office, and I myself in active duty. We've all experienced that move here, how stressful it was, moving halfway around the world, having no idea what Guam was or where it was. You just heard of it, once you got your orders and you looked it up. We had no idea when we came here. So both our products and our mission in life is to make it as stress-free as possible. We will go above and beyond to do whatever it takes to make their lives comfortable as they transition here. And that's going to create customers for life, right? All right, so the industry outlook, we pulled some numbers off the MLS this morning, and then kind of a big picture goal of what we're going to be looking at over the next few quarters. So if you look at this first quarter slide right here, there was approximately 100 million on the market available. There were 158 sales closed. That includes houses and condos. So 158 sales, and there's almost that many offices, and there's over 500 agents. So you can do the math on that. So for us, even if you multiplied it by 2 and said, hey, there was a buying agent and a selling agent on each side, and they were all different, that's still only 316 transactions. So with over 500 agents, you can see how hard we need to work to make sure that our market share is dominating that. The average sale price for condos and houses was $372,000. This time last year, that number was around 300. So that's like a 20% increase in cost. And that's primarily due to available inventory, cost of labor, and cost of materials. Anyone who has been to Home Depot recently can see that a sheet of plywood that used to be $25 is now $50 or more. So all our materials are being affected by COVID-19. All of our labor is being affected by COVID-19. It's going to continue that for a while. So we need to do our best to infiltrate as much as possible to get our share of those sales. Average days on market, 126 days. So if you assume that it takes 60 days to close escrow, that means some properties are sitting for 60 days. The question is why? So, there's really only a couple things that affect a price sitting. Location, quality. So is it, need paint? Is it messed up? Is there damage? Like what's going on with the house? And then lastly, price. And those three things interrelate. You can't change location, it's fixed. You can only change price and what the house looks like. So for our listings, if we ever see anything sitting on the market for 60 days, we need to be talking to our sellers. Current, 80 million on the market. So 80 million right now compared to 100 million last quarter. That's a 20% decrease. So that makes this share percentage even more important. So how do we get there? We're going to be doing a lot of groundwork. Let's see, we gotta let a couple of people in. If you're just joining us, I apologize. I just saw the notifications because I was in the zone. So we're talking about second quarter and our industry outlook to the future. So 80 million on the market, 20% decrease from last quarter. So how do we make up for that decrease? We got to start doing things that you don't do on Guam right now because no one knows about them, or they don't care, or they just assume that their clients are going to come back to them. And that's called groundwork. Driving for dollars, direct marketing, and knock knock. What's knock knock? So we're going to start targeting specific neighborhoods where sales are going on. We're going to go knock on doors. I'm going to teach you guys some scripts, and we're going to try to get and create seller listings for our buyers. We can take our buyer demands and turn those into actual houses by creating them out of thin air, and that's through groundwork. All right, so third quarter, if you assume that July through August, June, July, August, excuse me, PCS season, right? So we need to be putting this groundwork in now so that when this happens, we are ready. We have all our systems deployed. We have our market share built, and we are getting as much as possible because that season, PCS season, is our moneymaker. And if you guys have questions, both in-house and on the phone, please press the raise your hand button or shoot something in the comments. 1 second, let me just pause this real quick. Vivian, yeah. Yes, can you grab that from her? We're getting our insurance policies dropped off. So yeah, so if you have questions, please hit the hand raise button, and we're not gonna do like we did last time where I wait and pause for questions. We're just gonna keep moving unless you guys stop. So our goal by fourth quarter is to have 40% of the market share. That's a huge goal, right? So how do we do that? We're gonna use all these products. Okay. Use all these products to our advantage and create successful buyer and sellers, and turn leads into clients. All right, so we're talking about the buyer side today. So stuff that we have available for you as agents to use with your clients. We have the buyer roadmap, which is available for free on our website, modernrealtyguam.com/buying. All they have to do is go there. There's a video they can watch. They don't have to watch it. They can click get the guide. It's going to put up an information capture. That information capture, if they went to your page first, will be your lead. So you'll understand that they'll come into your CRM on the back end, and they'll be able to download that guide. It's 28 pages, step by step. It has frequently asked questions in it. So a lot of stuff that they're going to ask you are available in that buyer roadmap. So drive your new clients to get that, and you don't have to push them to the website. Feel free to drop it in their WhatsApp and email it to them as well. Get it in their hands. Say, you know, hey, we're going to run through it here in a second, but hey, I got this 28-page document. We created it specifically for first-time home buyers. There's a lot of frequently asked questions in it. It's really going to take the stress out of what you were thinking about you didn't know. And then when we talk again, any other questions that you have, I'm here to answer it. The buyer consultation slide deck. All right, so you guys should be utilizing the consultation slide deck, and we're going to focus on that today. This will help you turn a lead into a client. I used it the other day. I had a guy message me on Facebook. He said, hey, I'm thinking about buying a house. I've never done it before. I scheduled the Zoom call. So when you schedule these Zoom calls, you want to get them on the phone immediately. And don't say things like, you know, hey, are you available? I would like to jump on the call with you. Because guess what they're going to say? No, right? No, I'm not available. I'm busy right now. Pick specific actions. So, hey, I'm at 2 p.m. I just penciled you in to get you on a call. Does that time work for you? We can get you and your husband. And if they say no, they say, well, what time does work for you? Force them to give you back answers that they come up with. So you turn your ideas into their ideas, right? And then we get them on the phone, we get them on the Zoom, we show them, we run through the slide deck together, and you turn those leads into clients. Buyer agency explanation. So being a buyer's agent, sometimes people don't know what that means. Does the client have to pay for it? You know, how does it work? So we have a little one-page pamphlet that explains all that. It's free. It's a no-cost obligation. We work for them, and the seller pays for our commission. The buyer loyalty agreement. We're going to run through that as well. But basically, we don't have a exclusive buyer agency contract. We have a handshake style agreement that says, hey, we're going to work for you. Please work with us. Please don't talk to any other listing agents. If you have a for sale by owner that you find, please let us do the first contact. And then the cool thing at the end is we have sold by signs that are being made right now. And in our buyer loyalty agreement, we are asking our buyers when they close on the house to allow us to put the sold by sign in their yard for 7 days. The other thing that we're going to tackle on top of that is in our sold by sign, every time we sell a property, we're going to be either direct mailing or direct drop off flyers saying that we just sold a house in the neighborhood to all their neighbors, and then the neighbors see their sign. So now we have 2 mechanisms of influence on their mind. And coincidentally, the buyer consultation slide deck, the last slide drives you to the buyer loyalty agreement. So turning those leads into clients, right? All right, so specialized offerings, we just kind of touched on this. One-on-one consultations for first-time home buyers through our consultation slide deck and our roadmap, as well as our loyalty agreement. The Buyer's Advantage program. So we have partnered with multiple businesses on island to get our customers discounts and save them money when they work with us. So we have insurance agents that are going to give specialized rates if they say that they're from us. We have our preferred lenders that are available on our website that we have vetted, so we know the process should be as smooth as possible. We have service providers. We have a gas company that will give our clients 10% off if they say that they're from Modern Realty Guam. So all kinds of cool stuff like that for our Buyer's Advantage program. And we have the same thing on the seller side. We'll talk about that when we do our seller products. So ongoing support and follow-ups. So one thing with us and the way our customer management system works is the client is not done at close of escrow. We want to continue to always be top of mind, and you actually get a majority of your close sphere leads from past clients. So you want to continue to be top of mind. We want to know when their birthdays are, when their anniversaries are. We want to put that in our system. And we want to be sending them, postcards, handwritten notes. Hey, just thinking about you. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary. We actually have a client that we picked up yesterday. They dropped another agency because they were unhappy with it. They were referred to us, and they got married on island yesterday, young military couple. So we have a card that we're giving to them. Little things like that go a long way, and it keeps you top of mind. Additionally, we are getting magnets made that say need help, and that's for vendor stuff. So once we close on their house, they're now homeowners, and a lot of people don't know about maintenance associated with their house. What happens if the AC breaks? What happens if the pipe starts leaking? Who do they call? So we're building a custom vendor page for all our preferred vendors, and the magnet is going to be modernrealtyguam.com/vendors with a big thing on it that says need help. So no matter what, they're always thinking about us. And if they use that vendor, and then let's say a year later, their friend asks, hey, who do I use for a plumber? And they say, well, I can't remember who I used, but I know it's on the Modern Realty Guam vendor page. We are driving traffic to our page, so people are always thinking about us. All right, so just to give you a quick overview of our business model so you understand what it is that we're trying to do. You've heard me talk about it, quite a bit, but here it is in a slide form. So our general services, obviously we provide sellers, buying, and leasing agents. We also just started up our home inspection service through Modern Home Services, and then cradle to grave property management. So what does cradle to grave mean? That means that we are an investor-friendly firm. We know what investors want. We know what investors need. We know how to analyze numbers. We can help mentor and coach. We can help them acquire their properties. They don't need to be on island. We're talking with multiple investors that aren't on island that want to buy properties. We will help them acquire, we'll pick up the keys, we'll put it into property management, we'll place their tenants cradle to grave. Like, we will take care of everything. And that drives you back to that stress-free model where our job is to onboard all the stress that our clients don't have to. We want to cultivate referral services. So I track both inbound and outbound leads. So if we send someone to someone, we are expecting some sort of referral return down the road. It may not be a one-to-one ratio just due to the nature of the business, but we still want to capture inbound and outbound leads and turn them into clients. If you guys utilize the Modern Agent system, the system was built to do this pretty much for you. Like, the products are there, you just have to buy into the system. That talks about our next thing of becoming an expert. We want to understand the buyer and seller life cycle. So there's always a process in everything we do. Some people are at the beginning, some people are at the end. Well, guess what? When they're at the end of one life cycle, they may be at the beginning of the next life cycle. They just don't know it yet, because the buyer and seller life cycles are tied together. You're either a buyer, and once you close on your house, at some point you're going to sell it. And if you sell your house, you're probably looking to buy. So it's constantly a figure eight of your life cycles. And as you've seen already, if you follow us on social media, even if you're just joining us, we want to leverage our technology advantage. We want to work with each other to increase our spheres so that we exponentially reach more clients, and we're always top of mind. So we're setting everyone up right now as you onboard with your Facebook page, your professional Instagram, your Realtor.com profile, your Real Satisfied reviews, so you can start getting your reviews that push out to all your pages automatically. And creating all these systems to where if someone types in anything associated with your name or Modern Realty Guam, there's multiple web pages that are organically popping so that you are top of mind, top of search, so that you can use our cultivation services to turn leads into clients. So once you do this, you got to know what you're talking about, right? So becoming an expert is one of the most important things. So we need to get you guys full-time into our systems. You need to make a personal account on our website so that you start getting all the text and email campaigns, because I can give it to you in a summary sheet where it says, hey, this text comes and then we didn't hear from them. An hour later, it texts them again. You can see that on paper. What does that mean to you, though? You need to feel the experience and understand what it is when they're going through, so that when they get emails and texts and they ask you about them because they're coming from you, that you understand exactly where they are in our system. So we need to get you logged in, become an expert. Not only that, our drip campaigns for emails, same thing. Our drip campaign is custom designed for Guam. It talks about TLA, it talks about OHA, it talks about Guam, Navy and Anderson housing offices. It gives them all the information. On the seller side, it tells them about the Patriot Express. It tells them about how to ship their animals off island. We did all that research and we provided it to a marketing firm who wrote a nice drip system. So the power of the follow-up. Sometimes, and you think about this yourself, you're looking for something, say you're looking for, a new car in the next 3 months. So you go and shop online and you look at a couple cars, but you're not really looking to buy maybe right this second, but you have it in the next couple months. Well, our system allows you to set their timeline and set your own follow-ups both manually and automatically. So you want to be circling back when you feel like you've exhausted all your current leads, you have all your sales and listings, everything's moving along smoothly. What's next for you? How do you generate some more stuff? The first thing you should be doing is circling back to your what we call warm leads or even your cold leads. Cold calling back, say, hey, 3 months ago, I saw you on our website, you were looking for a house. Are you still looking for one? And if so, how can I help you? We just had, X, Y, and Z hit the market. I'd love to show them to you. We can get you on the phone for a Zoom call for a consultation. Constantly be driving and circling back to your previous clients that you haven't turned all the way yet. And the goal of our CRM and getting everyone onto the website so we capture their information is that we never lose a website, or never lose a client, excuse me. My previous firm, we would get stuff pushed out to a group text and there was no tracking of those people ever again. So you never knew if that deal was closed, if the client walked, like what happened. So we want to create a safety net with our CRM that we never lose a client. We can always follow up with them and try to get as many as possible. I want to the max extent possible early on an 80% capture rate, and we're driving that towards 90%, where out of every 100 clients, we convert 90. that come to us, right? So we don't lose them. That doesn't mean we have to convert them right that second. It means we keep following up to try to turn them. All right, so our timeline right now, where we are. So February, we started pre-launch stuff, started building all our products, paperwork, recruiting. Right now, we're kind of in the early April. So we have our agents inbounding. A lot of you guys are finishing up your transfer paperwork, both with tax and rev and with GAR. For our new agents, there's still a couple more classes that you have to take with GAR. You should be fully running in the next few weeks, so we're excited about that. Our next 6 months, we are going to rapidly expand, right? You've seen all the stuff that we're doing. You've seen us on social media. We talked about our ground floor door knocking campaigns, the build out through the PCS season. And then at the end of that 6 months, we're going to do an assessment going into the fourth quarter to see where we stand in the goal of our 40% of market share to the modern offices. All right, so our websites, if you didn't know, and I didn't get a chance to modify these to make them look nice and pretty, but we have modernrealtyguam.com/about. That'll give you all our agent profiles, everyone in the office, our staff. You can learn a little bit about each other. And I encourage you to start talking with each other, save each other's numbers, text, partner, whatever it takes. Don't feel like you have to do everything yourself, and don't feel like I'm the only one that you can come to for questions or answers. Talk to each other. Modern Rentals Guam, I told you in the group chat last night, it's up and running and points to our property management page. And Modern Home Inspections Guam, for contracts and stuff like that, is being built, but we can service home inspections now and do everything manually for the time being. All right, so our major competitors and what we want to look at. You know, just a couple ideas and concepts, because you always want to think about what is everyone else doing? Are they doing anything better than I can? Is there anything that we can replicate or at least, you know, adapt? Because we don't always have all the ideas, right? So if someone else is happening, we want to look around us. So just thinking about, you know, today's Realty, they've been around a long time. They have a lot of tech-based stuff as well. So how do we create a competitive advantage against them? Well, we have our products. We are going to over-tech them. We have our app-based solutions, even for our owners of property management, that they now have a homeowners app where they can log in. Think about like RE/MAX. You know, RE/MAX is a household name. They have a lot of franchise support, and they're right across the office. So while these guys are our competitors, we still have to work with them, but we want to think about unique ways that we can do things better. So if you see things they're doing that are working, constantly be thinking about how you can take that and do it better. And then, you know, if you think about everyone else, sometimes it pays to check out other people's websites. I know people check out our websites because I can see everyone that's on our page. So I know who's looking at our stuff. That's okay. Feel free, you know, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. We're not stealing anything, but I only have so many ideas. So if you guys have ideas, if you've seen something, like I told you before, Melanie Bolero brought me a bunch of pamphlets of stuff when she went to the Realtor convention. And I'm looking through all that stuff now to see if we can adapt anything into our stuff. All right, so we're done with the PowerPoint portion. I want to run you guys through the buyer slide consultation and our buyer roadmap. While I break, let me see if we have any questions. No, no questions. Cool. All right, there we go. Oh, we didn't let Jeff in. Poor Jeff. Pull this down real quick. All right, so our home buyer consultation. So this is what you guys want to use when you get your home buyers on the Zoom call for the first time. This is not something that we send to them for their review like we do with the buyer roadmap. This is for consulting with them so that you can explain the process and then get them to that loyalty agreement so that we're now turning a lead into a client. So the 6 steps, when we talk about the buyer life cycle, I want you guys to start saying this stuff in your head. This is our life cycle process: prepare, search, offer, finance, due diligence, close. Prepare, search, offer, finance, due diligence, close. That is the buyer life cycle of our home buying process. If you think about it, all it is a 6-step process that we have summarized for our clients so they can see how easy it is and give them a systematic approach to making it happen. When you're doing this consultation, you don't have to go in depth in detail on each one of these because the rest of the slides do that. So this is just a quick overview. Hey, we have a 6-step process that breaks it down for you. We're going to prepare for your search and home by getting all your paperwork ready. We're going to get you your buyer's agent, which I'm going to explain to you in a few minutes. We get you pre-approved. After we get you pre-approved and we understand your buying power, we're going to define that criteria. We're going to start searching for homes. When we search for a home and we find one that we like, we're going to create an offer. Now, right now, you can tell them about the market. Right now on Guam, it's a super competitive market. So having all your paperwork ready to go is super important. When we find something that we like, we need to be able to move fast. Just this past week, we've written, I think, 5 or 6 offers. And because we were the first people to get our stuff in and we responded in time with any changes or negotiations, we have a bunch of properties that we got under contract that we beat out multiple offer deals. So having your client prepared is one of the key steps in this. So you have all their paperwork. Financing. So next you're going to submit your earnest money and start working your loan process. So on Guam, the order appraisal and homeowners insurance are tied together. So our insurance agents on Guam will use the house appraisal price minus the land cost to set the value for their homeowners insurance. So you can explain that to them. So, hey, you know, don't worry necessarily about homeowners insurance. I'm going to give you a couple reps so we can shop to both the lender, and once we get your appraisal, we can link all that together. I'll be there every step of the way. They're saying, what's title insurance? So title insurance comes from your title company. It's protection if someone lays claim to the property. There's both a lender's policy and an owner's policy. The lender's policy protects the lender. So if they ever refinance and they only had a lender's policy, then that policy goes away and it's only covered for that time frame that they had it. So it's kind of their choice. You can give them some more information and ask them to talk to the title company about title insurance. We want to make sure that we stay in our swim lanes so that we don't give too much information, but we want to also show that we are a general expert and can get them through the process no matter what. Schedule the closing appointment, coordinate the move. So most of our buyers are military, right? So their household goods are probably sitting somewhere ready to go, and they're on TLA in a temp hotel or a temp building. Good thing, got 10 minutes left. Keeps me on time. So we want to coordinate their move for them. We want to be there for their closings, right? We want to be there for their closing, especially for our first-time home buyers. It just means a lot to them, even though we have nothing to do with the paperwork. We're going to bring that support, bring them a closing gift, where that's some kind of baggie that we made up. We got our magnets, our pins, all those things that we can drop in there too. But something personal from you. The cost of how much you spend on that, we can talk about that later. But if you sell someone a $500,000 house, a gift card, and say, hey, thanks for whatever, is probably not the right answer. You can get something, learn about them. What do they like? One thing that I like to do sometimes is take the survey, especially first-time home buyers, get the survey and get it put in a frame and give it to them so they can see the land that they bought. Something custom like that is personal from you to them. But obviously, whatever you want to do is fine. So the home buying process, prepare and search. These two are tied together. So you can talk to them more in detail. Hey, what is a buyer's agent? And you can even have I believe the next slide. Yep. So buyer's agent, and you click back and forth as needed. What is a realtor? Obviously, realtor is a member of the National Association of Realtors. Locally, it's the Guam Association of Realtors. So we have a higher standard of ethics. Not all real estate agents are realtors, but everyone in our office is or will be very soon. Explain the three possibilities: buyer's agent, seller's agent, dual agent. So buyer, you represent the buyer; seller, you represent the seller. Dual agency is both. Dual agency doesn't have to be the same agent. If it's both agents from our office, since I'm the broker for both sides of the transaction, we still have to give a dual agency disclosure, which just says, hey, the brokerage is representing both sides. We can still be ethically and give a fiduciary responsibility to each of our clients because you guys work for them individually, and you can explain that to them. As long as they understand that and sign the dual agency disclosure, we are good to go. So we prepare them, we get them on the website, they start searching for stuff. You can see everything they're looking at. They can favorite houses, they can request showings. You want to make sure before you start showing them houses that this pre-approval is done. Because you don't want to show them $500,000 houses when they're only qualified for 400,000, especially right now, because you're just wasting your time. And most agents on the selling side are wanting pre-approval letters sent over before they'll even allow you in the house. All right, so they're going to ask you, hey, I don't have any money to pay a buyer's agent. Why would I want you when I can just call the number? So explain to them, hey, we get paid by commission from the seller. We work specifically to get you into a house. There's no cost associated with that. If they have any other questions, you can answer it. But basically, our job is to get them a house. All right, so hiring a buyer's agent, we want them to work exclusively with us. Some of the reasons why they would want to do that: we have access to all the listings. Our website's actually super awesome, and any new listings pop about 2 hours before they come up on Flex MLS. Like I said, I don't know why it does that, but I'm not going to argue it. Market statistics, we have market reports available from our website that no one else does, so they can subscribe to a certain village they're looking for and get awesome information. And then you giving that information, unbiased, and their advice, hey, this area is great. You're in Navy schools, you're under Route 4. If they're Air Force, you say, hey, if you move below Route 4, you have to do Navy schools. Are you sure that's what you want to do? And you can narrow that down before you even start. You can give them some information. So when I did the consultation with our guy, he thought this was great information because he had no idea what he needed to start getting together. So now you're helping out your loan officer, which is great because you're making their lives easier, and we work with them all the time. So we want a good symbiotic relationship. So tell them, hey, you're going to need your last 2 pay stubs, your W-2s, start getting all this stuff together. When you do your initial pre-approval, they're only actually going to pull your credit. It's up to you whether you want to give them these documents, but having them stuff together when you start doing your loan process is really going to help. Define your buying criteria: 4-bedroom, fence, gated, less than 5 years old, in the location that I want. We call that, the unicorn, right? So I'm going to say, hey, right now the inventory is low. We're going to do our best to find something, but you may have to, slightly change your criteria. And then if there's nothing available, start pushing them as close as possible to what they want, but still in their area. So searching for homes, this is the only slide that I still need to get, I think this one and the next one, updated because it has our modern Midland stuff. But this right here, I think, is super important, especially these days. You don't want to schedule, 3 or 4 or 5 showings if they have the ability to drive by it first and eliminate it because there's a house next door that they don't like because there's a bunch of trash in the yard. A, that's Guam, but B, maybe you can eliminate it down to 1 or 2. 4 or less. I would not show more than 4 homes in one day to one client. They're not going to remember it. They're going to be tired. Everything's going to blend together. 4 or less. Just be firm but fair. Say, hey, they pick out 7 homes. Be like, well, you could look at these 3 today. I've already scheduled them. We're good to go. And then I have these 4 set up tomorrow. What is your availability? You don't want to show any more than 4. It's not going to work. They're going to forget, and you're going to have wasted your time. Open houses. So right now, we're not really doing open houses just because of COVID. We're kind of scheduling stuff like maybe 1 to 4, and everyone gets a 30-minute window. So it's kind of like an open house. We want to make sure that our clients inform anyone they talk to, open houses or for sale by owners, that they're already working with an agent. Ask them to give them your info, and you'll set all that up and schedule it, because you don't want them to start talking to the listing agent, pull their deal, work with that person, and all that work that you put in is gone. Sorry about that. All right, so why not to call listing agents? Each agent's trying to sell you their listing. You're basically selling them on wanting to be with us, right? So you can show them all the stuff, and then they are only going to want you to show your listing. Same thing if you're on the listing side. So it's competitive, and we want to create that competitive advantage and keep them with us. Don't call for sale by owners. So I actually had 2 years ago, one of my clients call a for sale by owner before I was able to talk to them, and it was a nightmare because now you have to inject yourself and create value for that for sale by owner to give you a commission because they're not required to. Was that? Right, they don't want to deal. Like, that's why they're for sale by owner. If you saw our post recently, we put this out that for sale by owners, they do this because they don't want to pay commissions and deal with realtors. Well, the statistics show that we get a 13% higher return on sale price working with a realtor than you do for sale by owner. But we don't want our buyers going to for sale by owners because we lose the advantage. What we want to do is say, hey, I'll call them for you. And then you get the owner on the phone and you say, hey, I have a pre-qualified buyer ready to go that's interested in your house. I would love to show it. And you can negotiate a commission with them right there. Get it on paper before you show the house, and you bring that buyer in. When you bring the buyer in, write the offer, the commission's already done, so you're smooth sailing. Like I said, my situation, they called them first. I ended up being able to negotiate my commission by inserting value, but it was much more difficult. So contracts, so we don't sign these exclusive buyer brokeraging agreements. We want to do a loyal agreement. We're here to work together. So when we get done with this call, unless you have any questions, we would love to handshake style. You can fire us anytime. We're just going to come up with some strict guidelines. We would like to work with you, and you work with us. Let's see. Stephanie, you have a question? We have 1 minute left, so it's got to be.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to know, is there a minimum that y'all have set for negotiating with the for sale by owner?
For sale by owner,
as far as commission?
Yeah, for sale by owner is really a game. It's almost to a point where I would start saying, trying to create a listing from them and starting at 6%. And then when they say, I don't want to do that, then you can work your way down. And then all of a sudden 3% is a unique advantage that you've created because it sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and jump forward. We'll actually talk about that negotiating tactics on a different training on our wrap up. So your next steps, we want them signing the loyalty agreement, immediately get them to the pre-approval process. So have your link ready to go. Whether it's our friends at Norcom or someone else, have that information, push it to them quickly, because now you have them on the hook and we want to keep reeling. Buyer criteria checklist. So, just find out what they want. Right now, we don't have a lot of inventory.